Well, if that's not true, what is true?
You said it. And the thing is wherever our, financial situation is in this moment is simply just a reflection of whatever financial number we have made ourselves comfortable to receive. So you just said, I'm ready to move into that $1 million business now. And so now you are evolving your mindset, and now you can get off of this live stream and you can go begin to welcome the people into your world that are going to say yes to build that $1 million business. And it's so interesting because it's the power of decision. And the decision and the reflection of what people are paying us, or the level of success that we're having, or the results that we're getting, it's not about what their perception of us is. It's about what our perception of self is. And when we raise our own self-belief and our self-perception about what we're capable of, that changes the perception of the world, because they're just mirroring back to us what we feel about ourselves, right? When Martin begins to see himself as millionaire Martin, you will begin to attract the clients and the people that will happily pay $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever you choose, that aligns with that perception and that vision and that belief that you already have about yourself. And the really cool thing about that, and I came from nothing, right? And I'm a multimillionaire, self-made multimillionaire. And the thing about that is any of us can change that at any moment. It's literally that constant self-work. It's that belief, of what is possible for us. And you talked about the movement that you're creating. And what I always love to share for entrepreneurs about opening yourself up to welcome more abundance into your life, to welcome more wealth into your life, is that the more abundance that you are willing to receive, the more abundance you have to give, right? And when you want to create a movement that changes the world, you have to be willing to receive, and then you have more to give. Right.
And you inspire me to do the same thing for gay men.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear your talks about maybe how'd you start? What made you feel like, what got you starting in creating a movement and participating in a movement? And
well, yeah, I mean, for me, I grew up in a situation where there's 5 kids in my family, and it was constant stress about money, constant stress about how we were going to pay the bills. Our financial limitations dictated many of the decisions in our lives. And I developed the belief from a very young age that that is something that we're all in control of, that we can change at any moment. And so I decided that I was going to solve this problem for myself, and then I was going to solve it for millions of other people. Because I believe that we can all have financial freedom. We can all create a meaningful, fulfilling, powerful life that embodies exactly who we are and what we were put here to do. And so for me, the movement is really about empowering people to see their own brilliance, to see their own genius, to unlock the millionaire that's already inside of them, and to know that whatever your circumstances or situation is today, that has nothing to do with where you're going or what you're capable of. That's just one moment in time. It's just one timestamp. Right? And whatever you decide that you want it to be in the future, you have the power to create that. You have the power to change that. And so for me, helping people build their own company is about empowering them to be able to live their life in complete alignment, where what they're doing day to day reflects what they believe they were put on the planet, what they believe they were created to do. And for many of us, you and I have this in common, Martin. It is about creating a movement, leading a movement, helping people see the vision for what's possible for their future, and then leading them through the steps to create that compelling future, to actually experience that vision, those dreams, that fulfillment, that purpose, right? That's what it's all about.
When I was willing to give my life for this cause, for this movement, I gave up my agenda. That's something worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something worth doing. And that's what I mean by it's something that's a life with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Surrender is hard. Surrender is hard, but it's so important. We live these lives of just speed and distraction and noise and, all of these diverging, conflicting priorities, and getting quiet enough to first hear the calling, and then second to be brave enough to surrender to that calling it's everything, right?
It's
And going back to
everything.
what you said earlier, you talked about gratitude. I think gratitude is the number one determining factor of a human being's happiness. The
Yeah.
number one determining factor. People ask me all the time, they're like, you work so hard, you seem happy all the time, people always want to know and understand the psychology. And the psychology for me is, remaining in a state of gratitude. And then you can deal with high highs and low lows and ups and downs every single day. There's never a day that there isn't something major that goes wrong or goes off course or doesn't go the way I wanted it to. I get hurt. I go through all those same human emotions and pains and challenges and struggles, but remaining in a state of gratitude brings happiness, and it allows you to have perspective when you're dealing with challenges versus letting a challenge just completely deflate you and take your entire life off course, right?
Right. And when you come from a place of gratitude, for me, I begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth and expansion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story. I said one morning I was about to leave. I hope I don't start crying when I tell you the story, but I was about to leave one morning, a couple of days before. I said, Abba, I just gotten to know him, and I just fell in love with him. He's such a beautiful man. And I said, it just breaks my heart. I mean, I started crying one morning. It breaks my heart that I'm going to go home to my husband in this lovely home in New Jersey, and you're going to go back in that camp where your life's in danger. It breaks my heart. And I'll tell you something, I'm going to get you out of there. I am going to get you out of there. I made that promise, and I didn't know I was making the promise just to him, but I made a promise to him and everybody else there. And that's become our mission. That's become our movement and to support that mission. And I want to tell you that as of the first, he's now my virtual assistant. So I gave him a job. So now he has money to get out. So we were able to petition the UNHRC to move him to Nairobi. And I want to report he is now living in Nairobi. Isn't that wonderful?
Lives changed, right? That's unbelievable. And hi, Abba, so great to see you. No, that's incredible. I mean, that's the power of just one human being seeing the potential for another human being and coming together with a common purpose and goal. And every single person listening and watching this show has the power to impact another human being in that way. Right?
And you talk about happiness. I got to tell you, when we really surrender to something we care about and we find our life's we got a clarity about our life's purpose and our mission, what we're here to do. That's happiness. That's why you're happy all the time, because you know what that is. And and that's what we get to do as coaches every day. We get to bring that transformational experience into the lives of others.
Yeah. Seeing the potential in other people before they see it in themselves, I think, is one of the most fun and exciting and inspiring things. I mean, I feel that every time I get on a call with any one of you guys. It's like I see it before you do, and then I get an opportunity to like hold up the mirror to you, and I'm like, no, but don't you see, right? And that's the power of these relationships, and it's magic, right?
It is magic.
We all need coaches. We all need someone that can see inside of us what we can't yet see for ourselves, and to help us see that.
I need his love and support to support the mission as much as he needs my love. And so we live in that reciprocity of love. And guess what? We're more creative, we're more productive, and we've had the most successful first month of a year in my entire life.
Yeah. I mean, that's the power, but see, there's an energy to team. And I'm a huge energy person. You know that. We just talked about this on the coaching call yesterday, but a lot of people, their energy with their team is this like extraction or, employee-employer relationship or manager-boss, whatever. And they completely miss the point.
They completely miss the point.
Is about being united for a bigger purpose. Team is about, connecting with a common vision and mission and goal. And, that energy that you just described between the two of you guys, that's so central to building a successful team. And I think many people approach team building from a transactional standpoint, and the energy it doesn't work. And it's say it's frustrating and it's expensive and it's overwhelming, to have a team. Yeah, because when that's the energy, it is going to be expensive and overwhelming and a lot of work, right? But when you come at it from a place of love and respect, and you're mutually invested in a common purpose, you're on a mission together, that's an energy that creates magic. Right.
That is an energy that creates magic. And guess what? That is the program we're going to be launching. We're doing a pilot program. It's going to be called Building a Team of Champions. And it's going to be 3 months of us. My goal is to completely create a revolutionary new way, what you're doing already in your business. And that is teaching people how to have those relationships, teach those critical skills of how do you have empathy? How do you have compassion? How do you have competency? How do you create trust through transparency with members of your team so that they become champions for each other? Yeah. And that's what we're going to be doing in this new program that Abba and I are doing together.
That's amazing. And, just to add to that, I think it's so important what you're doing, Martin, because I think that many times when people have a big purpose and a big goal, and maybe they're just getting started, or maybe they don't have a lot of financial resources, they try to go at it alone, and we can't do this alone.
No,
right? We can do this alone. It really is a team that makes the dream possible. And so I love what you're doing. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I do too. And I learned it from following you and coming back to two. I think, and what I would like to talk for a minute about are two key critical team members that every entrepreneur needs. One is a coach on the outside who can see the shadows and the limitations, like Kelly was able to see me. If you want to do a $50,000, I already see this in you, Martin. You can't see it. So I'm telling you, you're a $50,000 coach. Go out there and be a $50,000 coach. Yeah. And that's what coaches do. They tell you from the outside, remove those limiting beliefs that keep us from being brilliant. Yeah. But we also need somebody on the inside who supports our business, who's a champion for our cause, a champion for, and that's what a team is. So if any entrepreneur is starting, if you're a coach on your first day, when do you hire your first employee? The first day, because you cannot do it alone. Yeah. You cannot do it alone.
You can't do it alone. It's the team behind the dream. And I always say, where there's a will, there's a way. You can barter, you can have interns, you can do exchange of services. Where there's a will, there's always a way, right? So that's for everyone listening as well. You have to think about it from that perspective.
How can I afford this? This is something that it was true when I met you. Yeah. Joining, I think the story. I joined you, and I had my Social Security check. I took my full Social Security check. That's how I can afford it. And I went to my husband, and I told my husband, I said, "Husband, I'm about to give. I got to join this program. I've got to join this program. I have got to invest this money in myself. Yeah. And I'm going to take my whole Social Security check and I am going to invest it. And guess what? He said, okay. He said, every month? I said, every month. Can you take care of the mortgage? He said, yes, I'll support. He's been so supportive. So, but you know what? Guess what? I did it. And within a month and 6 weeks, I had a coaching client and I was charging exactly what I pay you. So the return on the investment was just like that.
It's amazing. As soon as we increase our barometer for wealth, for abundance, for receiving, the universe matches us, right? Because everything is a manifestation of our own thoughts.
Right.
Right. They say, I just recorded 2 podcasts on this. They say that worrying is literally negative manifestation.
Yeah.
Negative manifestation. You don't solve problems that way. You don't create solutions that way, right? All it does is reinforce and attract more of what you don't want. And on the flip side, making a decision up here and saying, I am, I will, I can, I'm going to, and then putting that out in the universe, you've already begun that process, right?
Yeah. Someone said worrying was like praying for a bad outcome.
But yeah, exactly. And I've actually, and I'll be honest, I've caught myself.
Me too.
I've caught myself and I've literally been like, what am I doing? Like, I have to stop. Like, we all do it. We're all human, but it's having an awareness and being able to identify and then self-correct. We all do it. We're humans. We all fall into that trap. It's like, we've all been through those situations where a couple bad things happen, and then we start being anticipatory of another bad thing. And it's almost this nervousness, you know, I don't know if this ever happened to you, but it's this nervousness that like, oh, what's going to happen next? And you got to flip that around. You got to
Right.
flip that
Yeah.
around, you know?
I know you have a new book coming out on conviction marketing. And I'd like you to talk a little bit about what conviction marketing is, a little bit about your book, and share with the audience a little bit about conviction marketing.
For sure. Yeah. So the book is called Conviction Marketing. And I wrote the book because I started to notice, and actually it's interesting, I wrote the book 2.5 years ago, and the world was completely different when I wrote the book. And I cannot believe how much more relevant the book is today than it was 2 years ago when I wrote it. But I started to notice this really dangerous, I think very sad trend of entrepreneurs just feeling pressured to do anything to get attention online, right? Following these crazy fads and trends and, you know, doing all this stuff that was like kind of unbecoming of, you know, them. And I felt like there was just this unbelievable pressure for attention online, where people were doing things that didn't really reflect their true values, didn't really reflect the difference that they were trying to make in the world, but instead were just looking for any and every way to gain attention, right? And, you know, for me, I help people build really successful companies, wildly successful companies. I would venture to say we have the best track record in the coaching industry for helping people to achieve 6 and 7 and 8 figure success. And none of those clients compromise their value system. None of them compromise their integrity. None of them felt compelled to start doing these crazy things online that just didn't match what their brand was all about or their value system. They showed up, they showed up in authenticity. They focused on being of service. They focused on understanding and articulating the distinctions in their brand and their methodology. They looked for ways that they could be of higher service and to go above and beyond the industry status quo and norms. And so I wrote the book to help entrepreneurs to understand a methodology for their marketing. So it literally teaches you a marketing system for your business and for your brand that allows you to be in complete authenticity, complete alignment, to focus on your marketing being a legacy body of work that stands on its own as this unbelievably valuable set of videos and posts and podcasts and things that you're creating that are going to live on in the world far beyond you, that you can be proud of, right? You don't have to do the latest, greatest, slickest clickbait headline. You don't have to dance around on camera if you don't want to. You don't have to point at things or follow the latest TikTok, you know, influencer trend. If you like that stuff and that's you, I think that's amazing. Go for it. But I don't want you to do that because you think you have to do that. I want you to do the thing that you're called to do. And so the book is really just giving a framework and strategy and a go-to-market paradigm that allows entrepreneurs that really want to focus on their marketing being their truest art of service. Their truest art of service. That is enough. That is enough. Yeah. You know, and I want people to know that is enough. You don't need to do all of these other things. And so that's what the book is all about. And I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really excited to share the message with the world. I think it's needed more than ever. And I'm hoping it inspires people to feel that they can go forward in their own way. You know, they don't need to look at me. They don't need to look at you. They don't need to look at anyone else. Like, what's in here? You know, I want to help people get what's in here out there.